What's good, everybody? What's good? It's your man, Hollywood Sports. If you are new to my channel, thank you for clicking on this video and welcome to Hollywood Sports. Man, we are here with EA Sports College Football 25 deep dive on Dynasty mode. Here we go. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Hit that subscribe button. We're going to be rocking with this game on this channel, man. We're going to be rocking with our Washington Huskies, baby, Dynasty. Let's do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are live, baby. Let's get it.
Hey everyone, Kirk Herbstreit here with EA Sports College
Here we
Football
go.
25, back for another deep dive. This time we're talking about everyone's favorite mode, Dynasty. Online Dynasty in College
go,
Football
baby. Let's do
25 can accommodate up to 32 teams, and you can play with friends for up to 30 seasons. Today we'll take a closer look at the new 12-team college football playoff, recruiting, the transfer portal, and a ton of customization options to make your program unique. College football has seen seismic changes over the past few years. And in EA Sports College Football 25, you can experience this new landscape while building your program the way you want. The 2024 season marks the debut of the new 12-team college football playoff. And you can play it first in the game months before the real thing. You could be the first coach to lead your school through the new 12-team playoff and hoist the college football playoff trophy. Recruiting is the lifeblood of college football, and in a world of unlimited transfers, managing your dynasty roster has never been more important. Evaluate your needs and opportunities for talent upgrades at the start of each season. The best way to build a powerhouse is to recruit through the high school ranks. So let's fill up your recruiting board. Each year, over 3,500 high school recruits are generated from all over the country, with certain regions representing real-world hotspots for blue-chip talent, like South Florida and Metro Atlanta. Do research to find recruits that best fit your program and determine who you can realistically land. A recruit's interest in your school is decided by 14 different pitch grades like proximity to home, playing time, and brand exposure. So you'll need to discover how your program's pitch grades align with your recruit's desires, in addition to scouting for talent.
It's beautiful, man.
Some players have a deal breaker requirement, and if your program cannot provide, the recruit will lock you out. Deal breakers also drive a player's decision to enter the transfer portal. Monitor at-risk players and get one last chance to convince your favorites to stay. Track your recruits as they narrow down their top schools. Pitch a prospect to gain more interest, and then set up school visits when the timing is right. It's crucial to remain in their top 10, then 8, then 5, to finally be part of their top 3. As a recruit trims down to the top 8, you can attempt to increase your appeal. If your school doesn't have exactly what the prospect is looking for, you can try to sway their opinion in your favor. Plan visits that elevate a recruit's experience, like pairing a quarterback visit with a wide receiver visit at the same time. It's crucial to keep an eye on the transfer portal when it opens in the off-season to round out your roster with talent you couldn't land from recruiting. Add portal prospects to your board just like you would with recruiting, but expect quick decisions as transfers have a shorter timeline to land a new home. Conference realignment is a hot topic in college football. And with custom conferences in EA Sports College Football 25, Dynasty is yours to control. See what a 20-team super conference might look like, or revert to the traditional conference alignment. Shape the conference size and membership and set custom conference rules, set up divisions, and more. Once you've settled your conference options, it's time to select your team. Begin with a highly ranked team and dominate at the top with repeat recruiting and playoff success. Or build from the ground up with a smaller program and prove you have what it takes to go from an unknown to postseason favorite. We can't talk about your dynasty without talking about your starting job. Start as an offensive or defensive coordinator and climb the ranks to head coach, or take over a program as the head coach right away. Choose from one of the 3 base coaching types to start. Your coach type will determine what coaching skill tree you start with. From there, the abilities you acquire as you progress will determine what kind of coach you develop into. Unlock additional skill trees with better abilities.
Gotcha.
Or, if you build up multiple skill trees, you can unlock hybrid trees that leverage a more diverse skill set.
Gotcha.
The coaching carousel is an important part of every coach's journey. Whether you're the head man at your dream school or working your way up, the carousel is your way of fielding offers from other programs. Head coaches in Dynasty can actively manage their coordinator positions. So if one of your staff takes a job elsewhere, or you decide to cut ties for other reasons, you can use the carousel to replace them. Remember, even the greatest coaches need support, and every coach has a unique skill tree. It's important to think about how you want to build your staff, whether that's doubling down on your existing strengths to max out your benefits or seeking out balance for a well-rounded staff. Choose wisely. The decisions you make here will matter to your program's success and your coach's progression. The benefits of coach talents are stackable. So if your head coach and defensive coordinator have the same ability, the impact for that ability will be greater. Well, that's it for today's deep dive into Dynasty mode in EA Sports College Football 25. To make it game day every day this season, pre-order the MVP bundle.
All right, everybody. What we're gonna do right now? I watched it live, and I'm gonna keep it going. What I'm gonna do? We're gonna watch it again, and we're gonna talk about it, and then we're gonna go through the actual deep dive vlog. All right, let's check it out one more time.
Hey everyone, Kirk Herbstreit here with EA Sports College Football 25.
I love the way, man, they motion capture players running onto the field in every way. This time we're talking
about everyone's favorite mode, Dynasty.
Wait, let's go back and look at the home screen. Hold on a sec.
Back for another.
Guys, this is a part I'm not good at, but we going through it, baby. Look at that screen right there.
Dynasty.
Let's back it up and pause it. There we go. Play now, Ultimate Team, Road to the College Football Playoffs. Now that's online rank right there. You got, I like that. I like that. Road to the playoffs. Hopefully that's going to be in the deep. Well, that may not be in the deep dive because it's not really Dynasty, but maybe they'll talk about it. Maybe they got other videos talking about it, but I want to know about that, man. Getting your team and going online. Yes. All right, then we got Dynasty right there. Settings, accessibility. Okay. All right.
Mode, Dynasty. Online Dynasty.
I love that player movement, man. That's so beautiful. Look at that spin move.
32 teams.
All right, what we got here? Select your team. Okay. So yeah, that's where you do your team select screen, and that select screen is beautiful. You got the Yukon Huskies. It looks like they're 1.5 star overall 75 team. Wow. And you got their offensive scheme, pro style, defensive scheme, base 4-3. Okay. All right. Well, again, at the bottom, it always says player and team ratings shown are not final, subject to change. That's all good. But I like that select screen, team select screen right there. And right at the top, offline, roster, setup, school, role, coaching, contract. Man, this game is going to take all my time, 30 man.
Seasons. Today we'll take a closer look at the new 12-team college football playoff.
Okay, we got recruiting. Woo-hoo-hoo. Add prospect. That's the prospect's name. 40% scouting. All right. Okay. Spend hours to learn more about this prospect's ratings, abilities, and mentors. Mentors are very important when we talk about recruiting. Yes, physical and mental. Okay, recruiting board. Up the top, you got prospect list, transfer portal, my school, and top classes. All right.
Recruiting, the transfer portal, and
What screen is this? Recruiting board. I'm sorry, guys, but hey, we're gonna tackle through this. We're going through this, baby. So hit that subscribe button. Transfer portal. Okay, cool. The rating of the players. It looks like their star rating. Let's see. Previous team. Oh yeah. Okay, we're in the transfer. See at the top, transfer portal. We're in the transfer portal list, and it shows you their previous team and how they're. Oh man, this is going to be beautiful. So you got to learn to mix your high schoolers and your portal guys.
A ton of customization options to make your program unique.
Especially the
College
customization.
football
That's awesome.
has seen seismic changes over the past few years. And in EA Sports College Football 25, you can experience this new landscape while building your program the way you want.
Beautiful pass.
The 2024 season marks the debut of the new 12-team college football playoff.
All right, let's check it out. College football playoffs. Okay, they got 12 spots. Okay, I like the brackets. In the finals, they got Oregon was 14-2 against Ohio State, 14-2. Capital Bowl and the Cotton Bowl. So that must have been the game between Ole Miss and Ohio State. Man, I'm liking this. Then Oregon was 2024 champions. Whew.
And you can play it first in the game months before the real thing. You could be the first coach to lead your school through the new 12-team playoff and hoist the college
That looks
football
beautiful. That
playoff
gameplay looks
trophy.
beautiful, man. I can't wait till I get my hands on it.
Recruiting is the lifeblood of college football.
Okay, recruiting. I'm just giving you guys a chance to look at the screen. Let's evaluate the screens a little bit because it's going too fast. Yeah, this is beautiful. Brian Hale, 3-star recruit. He's in the top 8. It says international. I don't know. INT means that he's first. Recruiting, social media, DM the player, contact. Oh, friends and family. Send to the house. Soft sell. Hard sell. Okay. This is deep. This recruiting is deep.
And in a world of unlimited transfers, managing your Dynasty roster has never been more important.
This recruiting is deep. They still on Hale right there. Action. Schedule a visit. Scholarship offered. Yeah, okay.
Evaluate your needs and opportunities for talent upgrades at the start.
What are we looking at here? Team needs. Oh, that's your team needs for the Florida Gators. Offense. They need a quarterback. They need a fullback, a left tackle, left guard. Okay, you kind of see how it's working now. Rating, need, total, signed, senior, junior, sophomore, freshmen. Ooh, tells you how many you need from each class.
The best way to build a powerhouse is to recruit through the high school ranks. So let's fill up your recruiting board. Each year, over 3,500 high school recruits are generated from all over the country, with certain regions representing real-world hotspots for blue-chip talent, like South Florida and Metro Atlanta. Do research to find recruits that best fit your program.
Overview, recruiting.
And determine who you
can
realistically land.
Okay. Sammy Blount, power moves, strength, tackle, awareness. You're going to have to take your time with this recruiting, guys.
A recruit's interest in your school is decided by 14 different pitch.
Okay, what are those? Oh, pitch. We're going to learn what all those are. I guess is that when you're pitching to the recruit?
Proximity to home, playing time, and brand exposure.
You want to pick
so
something
you'll need to discover how your program's pitch grades align with your recruit's desires, in addition to scouting for talent. Some players have a deal breaker requirement, and if your
deal breaker, playing time. Okay. So the players got deal breakers. They want playing time. You have a C+ and a need is a B-.
Program cannot provide, the recruit will lock you out.
Ooh, the recruit will lock you out. Whoa.
Deal breakers also drive a player's decision to enter the transfer portal. Monitor at-risk players and get one last.
When you get these recruits, you got to make them happy, man. Oh, they're gonna hit that transfer portal like that. Man, that's why I say in this game, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, and learning your recruiting style, recruiting systems, because your player's going to be leaving, jumping ship, hitting the transfer portal. You're trying to keep them happy, but you don't want to make them have them control everything. But still, I mean, we really got to evaluate before we put them on the board, because if they're those kind of guys you think they're going to jump, or you look at their history, come on, man, this is going to be nice.
Chance to convince your favorite.
Reason for leaving, playing style. He didn't like the playing style. So when you're recruiting a guy, a pitcher, a recruit, you've got to be attracted. You got to pay attention to their playing style. You can't force them to play something they don't want to play, and also you don't want a player that doesn't fit your system. So if he doesn't like your playing style, don't get him. He could be a 5-star recruit, right? But if you said, well, I'm gonna make him fit my playing style because he's a 5-star recruit. I'm trying to get 5-star recruit. This guy's talented, and guess what? Boom, he hits the transfer portal because his reason for leaving was your playing style. See, guys, we got to do this thing right. We can't say, oh, he's high rated, he's a 5-star recruit. You got to build this thing right and attract people to your program.
Track your recruits as they narrow down their top schools. Pitch a prospect to gain more interest, and then
soft sell awards a moderate amount of influence when choosing the correct ideal pitch, with a lower penalty for being wrong. Best when you have some idea of what the recruit wants from your school. The cost, maximum influence, that must be 15 points. All right, so you got contract sent to the house. Okay, hard sell. Oh man, we got to learn what all those really mean.
When the timing is right. It's crucial to remain in their top 10.
We got to. So I guess if they fall out of your top 10. I'm not saying you shouldn't waste your time still trying to recruit him, because you never know it. It depends on all the scenarios you have trying to recruit him and what school you're at and stuff like that. Maybe you're in the right location.
Then 8, then 5.
Maybe the other schools in the top may disappoint him, and then you move up the scale. This is awesome, guys. So that's the overview right there.
To finally be part of their top 3. As a recruit trims down to the top 8, you can attempt to increase your appeal. If your school doesn't have exactly what the prospect is looking for, you can try to sway their opinion in your favor. Plan visits.
Sway. That's what that means. You got to sway their opinion.
Like pairing a quarterback visit with a wide receiver visit at the same time. It's crucial to keep an eye on the transfer portal.
You got to keep your eyes on the transfer portal. Man, there's a lot to move back and forwards with. You're managing your recruiting board, your prospect list, your transfer portal. I don't know what the My School is. All right.
When it opens in the off season, to round out your roster with talent you couldn't land from recruiting. Add portal.
Oh, that's a good point right there. If you can't land them from your regular recruiting from high school and fill certain spots when we know your needs, then you can go to the transfer portal. Ooh, okay. But then in the transfer portal, there's going to be a lot of people competing for these guys. Did I just start over? Sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
It's crucial to
remain
remain
in
their
where
top
we were.
10,
okay.
Then 8, then 5 to finally be part of their top 3. As a recruit trims down to the top 8, you can attempt to increase your appeal. If your school doesn't have exactly what the prospect is looking for, you can try to sway their opinion in your favor. Plan visits that elevate a recruit's experience, like pairing a quarterback visit with a wide receiver visit at the same time. It's crucial to keep an eye on the transfer portal when it opens in the offseason to round out your roster with talent you couldn't land from recruiting.
So you have
Add
to do the
portal
transfer
prospects
portal in
to
the
your board
offseason.
just like you would with recruiting, but expect quick decisions as transfers have a shorter timeline to land a new home. Conference realignment is a hot topic. Football 25.
One thing I want to say, guys, is that when you're recruiting, especially in the transfer portal, there's a lot of teams competing for their business. So you're almost you almost have yourself in a situation where you're begging. You're begging. You got to make your program attractive, so you're not begging to get these guys to come to your school in the transfer portal, because everybody's going to be going after that transfer portal looking for talent, right? But you got to make your program attractive with the right coaches, the right schemes, all of that stuff, man. The traditions to attract these guys.
The hot topic in college football. And with custom conferences and EA Sports College
awesome.
Football 25, Dynasty is yours to control. See what a 20-team super conference might look like, or revert to the traditional conference alignment. Shape the conference size and membership and set custom conference rules, set up divisions, and more. Once you've settled your conference options, it's time to select your team. Begin with a highly ranked team and dominate at the top with repeat recruiting and playoff success. Or build from the ground up with a smaller program and prove you have what it takes to go from an unknown to postseason favorite. We can't talk about your dynasty without talking about your starting job. Start as an offensive or defensive coordinator and climb the ranks to head coach, or take over a program as the head coach right away. Choose
a lot of
from
people don't use this customization to build their own leagues.
Your coach type will determine what coaching skill tree you start with. From there, the abilities you acquire as you progress.
We look at the coaching skill trees: passing game quarterback, extra gear quarterback, icy veins quarterback. Quarterback start games with a composure boost. Ooh, yes, you're really going to need that in those big stadiums when you're talking about composure for you, especially your quarterback. Master motivator. Coach abilities. He's a master motivator. Lock-in quarterback. Quarterback start the fourth quarter hot in close games. So your coaching tree, oh man, you got to do this thing right, even with your coaching tree.
Progress will determine what kind of coach you develop into.
You got to develop your coaches.
Skill trees with better abilities. Or if you build up multiple skill trees, you can unlock hybrid trees that leverage a more diverse skill set. The coaching carousel is an important part of every coach.
Coaching carousel: head coach, new coach preferences, strategist, alma mater, off scheme, multi-purpose offense, defensive scheme 4-3, previous head coach, Doug Greenwood, master motivator, fired. Woo, we got fired. Top candidates. Oh, wow. Beautiful, man. So you can hire and fire your coaches. Ooh, this is nice.
Coach's journey. Whether you're the head man at your dream school.
Contracts. He's a head coach recruiter, level 21. All right. His 3-year contract. Wow, and it shows his record, man. 2024, he's 4-2.
Or working your way up. The carousel is your way of fielding offers from other programs. Head coaches in Dynasty can actively manage their coordinator positions. So if one of your staff takes a job elsewhere, or you decide to cut ties.
So even if you're not keeping your staff, your coaching staff happy, they're going to get hired somewhere. They're going to get offered somewhere else. That's awesome, man. So then you got to go and find you a new coordinator, right? Offense or defense or whatever, right? Beautiful.
For other reasons,
they are putting the dynasty in your hands.
Remember, even the greatest.
What was that? They say he went to the NFL? Staff moves. Oh, it shows you where they went. Went to the NFL, retired. He got fired. Ooh, this is nice. Good tracking system right here. Bo Walton, defensive coordinator, level and archetype. Level 25 motivator. Job security. He's on the hot seat. Woo-hoo, nice.
Remember, even the greatest
This is
coaches
a lot,
need support,
guys,
and
to
every
take
coach
in.
has a unique skill tree.
This is
It's
a
important
real
to think about how you
immersive
want to build your staff, whether that's doubling
coaching
down on your
tree.
existing strengths to max out your benefits or seeking out balance for a well-rounded staff. Choose wisely. The decisions you make here will matter to your program's success and your coach's progression. The benefits of coach talents are stackable. So if your head coach and defensive coordinator have the same ability, the impact for that ability will be greater. Well, that's it for today's deep dive into Dynasty mode in EA Sports College Football 25. To make a game day every day this season, pre-order the MVP.
All right, guys, what we're going to do right now, I'm going to go and jump right into the vlog. Let's see if it's here. Let's go to news. There we go. Dynasty deep dive. Let's plug in, guys. Let's plug in. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Welcome back to the campus huddle. And this is pretty long, guys. We're going to go through it. If you want to hang out, you want the information, hang around, okay? Your home for news, information. Okay, we got all that. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, building Dynasty. Okay, when we were in the early stages of designing Dynasty mode, guys, I'm going to read this verbatim, okay? If you want to hang around, hang around. We're going to dive deep. That's why they call it a deep dive, all right? When we were in the early stages of designing Dynasty mode, we talked with members of the community, college football experts, and coaches. We read hundreds of blog posts and tweets and watched countless wish list videos. We know how important Dynasty was to our community, and we heard them loud and clear that our players wanted a deep experience. Now, so far what we saw, guys, is really deep. Recruiting is deep. Your coaching carousel is deep. Managing your recruits, when we talk about portals and high school guys, this is deep, guys. You got customization. We know how important Dynasty was to our community, and we heard loud and clear that our players want a deep experience that is representative of the current college football landscape, where roster management and talent acquisitions are the forefront of successful programs. With this in mind, we anchored our experience around three core pillars: build your coach, build your program, and deliver the world of college football. And y'all delivered the world of college football, guys. They have. Okay, we got it. Build your coach, build your program, deliver the world of college football. Now, I won't read all of these verbatim. Let's see build your coach. This encompasses the decision to make on your coaching journey to the top of the college football world, whether that's starting as a coordinator at a small school and making a name for yourself before getting the first head coaching job, or starting as a head coach at your dream school. Every decision you make on your journey matters when it comes to building your dynasty. Okay, underlying our three core pillars was one singular motto: satisfy the core community. Okay, with this game. Okay, I think most people are satisfied with this game, but we still need to see the gameplay. But so far, guys, they have hit crossed every T and dotted every I. Okay, build your coach. Okay, they're just going over the same thing. Coach progression. Let's read that. Progressing your coach starts with playing games. As you play, you will complete each goals that award XP. Once you earn enough XP, you will level up your coach to a maximum of level 50 and be awarded coach points. Coach points can be used to upgrade your coach's ability. More on that later. There are 4 coach XP goals categories that can be single: game, weekly, season, or career goals. Draft. Pro draft goals based on which round your player is drafted in. For example, player drafted in the first round. Game. Individual game goals that range from a single play result like interceptions and rushing touchdowns to a full game result. For example, beat your rival, beat a top 25 team, and win a national championship. So all that stuff counts, guys, towards XP when we talk about your progression of your coach. It's going to involve recruiting. You get XP, you're going to get recruiting for your stats. Beautiful. Weekly goals like rushing in the top 10. Season stat goals, for example, 4,000 team passing yards. 4,000 team passing yards and rank top 5 in offensive yards. And career goals like win 5 national championships. So you're getting XP as your coach progresses on everything. That's how you progress your coaches, man. So I guess if you're not progressing your coaches, maybe they'll want to leave. Maybe they'll go somewhere else. As we go through this, guys, as you go through college football 25, I think we're going to get better and better and learn from our mistakes because we're really going to have to learn a system. You're going to have to build yourself a recruiting system when we talk about coach progression. All right. And it shows a little picture up there, their progression points and everything. Each time you complete a game, you will receive a notification in the top left corner of the screen. The notification will describe the completed goal and XP rewarded. Awesome. Awesome. And that's it right here. I can't really read it. It's kind of small. It's talk about first down, +2, pass. Is that pass? Pass TDs, +20. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. After completing a game or advance the week, you will receive XP summary screen showing progression to the next level. So it shows you your levels of your coach's progression. Weekly advanced summary. Coach XP goals right there. Beautiful. Beautiful. Coach archetypes. Wow, this is deep, guys. This is deep. We are introducing a new archetype-based coach ability system. You can think of this similar to your traditional RPG classes, where all of your party members have a specific class, archetype, and role. Ultimately, in order for your team to be successful, all of the players in your party must do their job and work together. Our system is no different. All coaches will start with a base class or coach archetype, which can be thought of as your special ability in a traditional RPG. Just like our real life coaches, the base archetypes fall into 3 categories: recruiting, motivation, think player development and program culture, and scheme on field X and O's. Guys, you're actually building an actual dynasty, man. This baby is being built, guys. All right, let's go to another category here. Like I said, we don't need to read it all. How do I upgrade my archetype and what does it do? Each archetype has a set of prerequisites and objectives that must be completed in order to purchase them. For example, in order to become an elite recruiter, you must spend 50 coach points in a recruiting archetype and sign 2 top 5 recruiting classes. Whoa. Top 5 recruiting classes too. So you can actually keep your progression going as this in your different seasons. So if you're going to have a sign 2 top 5 recruiting classes. So that's 2 seasons to have 2 recruiting classes. So your progression just keeps building through your whole career. Your whole dynasty is not just a 1-year thing. Once these goals are completed, the archetype becomes available for purchase with each point. When creating your coach, You will select which base archetype you want to start with. The other two base archetypes will then be available for purchase with coach points without the need to meet any additional requirements. Wow. So you need that XP to purchase those points. Unless they having people spending real cash, but I don't think so. They probably would have mentioned it though. Because everybody would then, it'd be like an ultimate team. Everybody would be spending all kind of money to get their coaches built up. And I hope they don't. I hope that's not available. Okay, you got to build your program to earn those XP points, not just buy your way to the top. You know what I'm saying? Okay, how do the abilities work? Once you own an archetype, you can purchase the abilities within it using coach points. In College Football 25, we are introducing more than 50 coach abilities, 50 coaching abilities. Each ability can have up to 4 tiers, and every tier has a purchase cost associated with it. Every archetype, with the exception of Scheme Guru, Program Builder, and CEO, has their abilities broken down by position group. This increases the level of depth and speculation each coach has. Wow. You got Battery Pack Tier 1 Offensive Player Fatigue, Slower and Hurry Up. Ooh. Caught Napping Tier 2, Increased Delay to defenders looking to the sideline at the snap. Oh, that's right, because you got a lot of teams where the coaches are on the sideline calling the plays. On their heels, Tier 3, Team Composure, Boost for first downs gained while running, Hurry Up. Tip Your Hand, Tier 4, Chance to see the defense's coverage shell and Hurry Up. Wow, man, come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. These are crazy abilities for coaches, man. All these abilities, hater blockers, Teflon, polished, clean sheet offense. Tier 4 offense players will commit significantly fewer penalties. Guys, that's why when you might have the highest rated team, but if you don't have your coaching abilities, they're not going to coach your team correctly, and you got a well-coached team coming through with these tiers of abilities. Come on, man. Guys, you can actually build a dynasty that's upsetting big-time programs. There's coaching ability screen right there. We saw that during the trailer. What about coordinators? Probably the same thing for coordinators. Both coordinators and head coach have the same set of abilities and archetypes available to them, leading to a natural progression from coordinator to head coach, and increased importance on staff management, where your coordinators either complement your strengths or share up your deficiencies. Remember, no coach can be great at everything, so it is critical that your coordinators complement you. So you got to get the right coordinators on your team, guys, or find the right coordinators. Climbing the coaching ladder. Your journey starts when you sign your first coach contract. When creating your dynasty, you will have the option to select whether you want to be a head coach, also offensive coordinator, or defensive coordinator. Coordinators have performance expectations just like a head coach. All roles will have full control of recruiting and be able to play both sides of the ball during gameplay. Sign here, please. Every time you start a new coaching job, you will be asked to sign a contract with that school. The contract will have a set contract length and performance expectations, just like in real life. Failure to meet those expectations will result in bad things happening. Woo-hoo-hoo. School expectations are determined by the school's current team prestige and program standing. The better the school, the higher the expectations. There are 4 types of contract expectations. Okay? Win games, obviously. That's number 1. win a conference championship, make the college football playoffs, and win a national title. Those are big expectations, and if you're going to hire a coach, you be a coach, those expectations should be yours also as a coach. Wow, man, this is beautiful, guys. This is beautiful. Guys, like I said, this is a lot of information. If you want to hang around with the video, you want to know about deep dive into Dynasty mode, here we go, baby. I'm doing it for you. Let's get on it, baby. Your job security will influence throughout the season based on the results of your games, whether or not you are trending towards meeting your contract expectations. The further you are from meeting your expectations, the bigger your job security will be hit. And that's right, guys. If you got a coach, you want him to perform. You'll be fired and have to look for a new job in the coaching carousel. Alternatively, meeting or exceeding your goal will result in increased job security. Of course, if you don't like the possibility of being fired, you can always turn off user coach firing in your Dynasty settings. Well, I want to leave my settings on because I want to be judged at how am I? Am I good enough to coach in college football in a top power dynasty, right? Am I a good enough coach? So I want to leave that setting on. If I get fired, then I know I got to improve. If I go to another program, I got to improve, right? Beautiful stuff, guys. Job security is a function of your ability to meet your contract expectations. So we kind of get the gist on current coaching job security. All right, you got to do what you got to do. Coaching carousel. Following the 2001-2022 college football regular season, two high-profile schools in LSU and USC were looking for new coaches. Both schools did what nobody saw coming and hired elite coaches from other high-profile schools. Suddenly, other high-profile jobs were unexpectedly available, and the coaching carousel was in full effect. Guys, this is a lot. There's a lot of competition going on between coaches, being offered contracts and stuff like that. All right, okay. How do schools determine who they want to hire? Each school has a school persona, which determines what they are looking for in their next coach. Schools will evaluate candidates across the following criteria. Level. The higher the coach's level, the more powerful they are and the more abilities they have. Schools are always looking for the highest caliber coach they can find. But sometimes, guys, I would probably be looking for a diamond in the rough. They might not be at a good program school, but they got good XP. They got a good track record. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's going to be going after the top coaches. If you have to fire your coach, right? Scheme. Certain schools, like the military academies, want a coach who runs a specific style of offense or defense. That's going to be hard to determine. Sometimes you need to make a change. Who knows, man? Archetype. Schools have a preference on the type of coach they are looking to hire. Just like the real world, blue bloods prefer elite coaches who are a program builder or CEO. Pipeline. All coaches have a primary pipeline, that's true, which provides a boost in recruiting. Because a lot of coaches, guys, they have connections, relationships with these high schools, okay? So sometimes they have a great recruiting pipeline of great talent in these high schools. So that's another thing you want to look for in coaches, right? This is meant to simulate an area of the community where they have strong ties and relationships in recruiting. Schools prefer coaches whose primary pipeline is the same as one of the school's recruiting pipelines. Coach prestige. A coach prestige is compared against the school's team's prestige. Five-star program is not going to hire a coach who is mid and only a C coach prestige. That makes sense. But hey, man, sometimes you want to find that diamond in the rough too, I think. I mean, it's a big risk, but hey, that's how you become great. Together, these form an overall school fit score, which is then used to generate a list of candidates for the job. The school will then extend an offer to one of the coaches. You know, it's kind of like Tom Brady. Nobody expected Tom Brady to be what he ended up being, right? Diamond in the rough. And the same thing happens to coaches all the time. All right, head coach shows you their coaching carousel stuff. Managing your staff. Let's read a little bit of this. As a head coach, you will now have the opportunity to manage your staff and hire, fire your coordinators. Remember, our coach archetype system does not allow you to be great at everything. Making who you surround yourself with that's more important. Staff management is your opportunity to build your staff the way you want in the efforts to put yourself in the best position to succeed as a program. Great. So you got to put talent around you as a head coach. You're fired. Managing your staff starts during Conference Championships week. During this week, you will be able to fire your coordinators. Be careful because this is the only week you can do this. And so that's going to be Conference Championship week. After this week, you are unable to replace a coordinator unless they are hired away by another school. Okay. Makes sense. The coordinator will not leave unless you fire them or they are hired by another school. Every coordinator has a standard 2-year contract. Once the contract expires, it will be automatically renewed for another 2 years. Of course, if you don't like them, you can always tell them they're fired. If your coordinator has 1 year or less remaining on their current contract, there is a choice they will be poached and leave for another school. If this happens during the carousel, you will have the opportunity to hire a replacement. So your skills have to be good at finding new coaches also. Because you don't know, guys. Somebody might pay your coach, your offensive coordinator, a lot of money and he's out of there. Or he gets a promotion to be, or maybe you got a line coach that gets a promotion to an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, right? So guys, we got to be proficient in all these areas when it comes to hiring and firing coaches. Welcome to the team. Starting bowl week 1, you can hire new coordinators. You have an open position. Okay, we kind of get it, what they mean about managing your staff. Okay, let's keep going. Build your program. There is no question that in today's world, roster management and talent acquisition are the forefront of college football and building your program. Players can now transfer whenever they want, and they have expectations for you and your program. Some are looking to play early, others want to win, championships and play in big time games, and stars want to grow their brand beyond the field. Aligning what you and your program can do for them has never been more important. And I'm going to add my little piece when it comes to recruiting. Man, you got to actually build a program, guys. This thing could flop. If you don't get your coaches built up, your recruiting program built up, all of that could be flopped when you're not winning games. Your fans are not showing up. Guys, your coaches are getting pissed off and they want to go somewhere else. You could mess around and have a mess of a program, right? Your players are hitting the transfer portal. Your coaches are quitting. They're going other places. Man, you have got to do this thing right. And I know people are not going to take their time and build a solid foundation to have a dynasty, right? We're in dynasty mode. You want to build a dynasty. And you can't do that in 1 or 2, 3 years. You got to slowly progress all your coaches. Like they said, you got to have 2 top 5 recruiting classes as one of the abilities for your coaches. So guys, this is a long-term progressive dynasty. where you can go one, year two, year three, and build this thing out, man. Wow. This is going to be nice, guys. Lastly, spent time talking with our community on what they expected from recruiting and program management. Players liked the recruiting in older games because it had depth, but it was also tedious at times. It was. On the contrary, the latest iteration was fast, but it was also shallow and cold. You never actually felt like you were establishing a relationship with the recruit. That's true. We wanted to find a way to blend the two so that recruiting felt meaningful and allowed you to build a connection with your recruits through discovery, while also being conscious of their time each week. Okay, welcome to stage recruiting. Guys, this is so deep. This is so deep. You guys wanted to know about Dynasty mode, right? Here we go. In College Football 25, we are introducing a new staged recruiting experience built around 3 distinct phases: discovery, pitch, and close. Discover your recruit, pitch your recruit, and close your recruit. Just like the real world, every recruit will be in a different stage of their process. Where they are in their process will dictate how you interact with them and the level of engagement they require. Wow. Guys, you have got to make these guys happy. They want to go to the NFL. They're going to do whatever they can do to go to the NFL. Again, you got to take your time and build your dynasty correct. If you try to do the microwave era and rush this dynasty, this thing is going to fall apart. You got to build it brick by brick, and I love it. I love it. I love it. So we have staged recruiting. Let's see. Once a recruit announces their top 5 schools, it's time to pitch. During the pitch phase, you are selling the recruit on your program and what you offer. Okay? I love that. Discovery, pitch, and close. Great concept. Great recruiting concept. How well your school aligns with their motivations will determine how successful you are. Wow. And it's going to be based on your school, your tradition, your location, if they can start right away. All that stuff they talked about earlier. The final stage is to close. Very important. This is when you bring the recruit in for an official visit and attempt to leave a lasting impression about your program. If the visit goes well, you'll make huge gains with the recruit and possibly secure a verbal commitment following the visit. That's right, you get the verbal commitments. Ultimately, the recruit will make their final decision on National Signing Day. Ooh, that's a big day to find out who you got and who you didn't get, right? My school. When we talk about there being 134 ways to play, we are talking more than just on the field gameplay. Every school is graded from D to A plus across 14 different categories, which comprise their My School grades. These grades define who a program is and what their strengths and weaknesses are. No two programs are the same, and the grades will dramatically change over the course of your dynasty based on school performance and actions. The 14 grades are as follows. Ooh, we're going to get grades. Playing time. This represents how long it would take for a player to become a starter at their position. Playing time is individualized to each recruit and player based on their position group and overall. So if you have a history of your freshman or redshirt freshman, and they don't normally start to their junior year, that's not good. That's not good at all. Now, fairly, maybe you're just recruiting those type of players that are just not ready yet in your program. So you get a grade, right? So I guess your recruits are going to be looking at that. Wow, man. You got to build. There ain't no stone unturned in your dynasty program that somebody's not looking at, right? You can't hide from nothing. These recruits going to be looking at everything about your program, man, and that's awesome. Playing style. Recruits going to be looking at your playing style. This is a representation of how you play. Every player archetype has a stat that is tracked over the course of the season. How high that stat is relative to other teams determine your grade. For example, field general quarterbacks playing a style grade is driven by passing yards per game. Let me read that one again. Okay? When we talk about playing style, this is a representation of how you play. Every player archetype has a stat that is tracked over the course of the season. How high that stat is relative to other teams determines your grade. For example, field general quarterbacks playing style grade is driven by passing yards per game. So a field general, they're graded by their passing yards per game. Championship contender. This measures how close the team is to winning a national championship. This takes into account the team's current making and roster composition. So recruits are looking at everything about your school when we talk about my school. Program tradition. Wow, guys. When we talk about there being 134 ways to play. Program tradition. This is a holistic view of a program's history and success over time based on the number of conference and national championship total wins and awards won. Campus lifestyle. This is a representation of the city and area surrounding the campus as well as the campus itself. This grade cannot be changed or impacted. Guys, looking at this game, you're going to be spending a lot of time on this game building your dynasty. Madden might be in trouble, man. I'm telling you. Madden might be in trouble. Do y'all hear me? Everybody's going to be spending a lot of time on this game if the gameplay hits the target, man. Wow. Wow. Let's look at campus lifestyle. This is a representation of the city and the area surrounding the campus as well as the campus. Okay, we read that. Stadium atmosphere. This is driven by the stadium's toughest places to play ranking, which is determined by the team's historical performance in home games. Program potential. This is a projection of how likely it is that the players on the current roster will play on Sundays. Brand exposure. This grade is a team's overall brand recognition to potential NIL opportunities a player could get at the school and how often the school plays in prime time games. So your recruits are going to be also looking at brand exposures, man. Again, these guys want to be big time, man. We talk about my school. How does my school look? My dynasty, right? Wow. Let's see. Coach stability. This measures how long the coaching staff has been in place and how likely they are to determine there for the next 4 years. So, your recruits or whoever's coming to your school, it could be coaches. It could be people in the transfer portal. It could be guys from the high school ranks. You're trying to recruit. They're saying, man, this guy never keeps any coaches. His coaches are always getting fired. His coaches are always leaving. That's going to be, that's going to portray what your school is about, right? Guys, this is deep. This is deep when they created this game. Look at all this information. This is deep. And we are going deep with it in this deep dive, guys. You don't have to watch all the video at once, guys, but I'm telling you, you're getting all the information right now. You don't have to go through it. We go through it together, okay? Each grade has a unique set of grading criteria. For example, playing time is graded on a per player basis. The player's overall or projected overall, if they are a recruit, is compared to the team's roster to project how many years it would take for them to become a starter. And if they see it's going to take a while for them to become a starter, you're in trouble. Especially the recruits that's looking for immediate playing time. You know, those 4 or 5-star recruits, they want to start, right? But it depends on what your need is and what kind of roster you have already. So again, you got to go out and attract the right recruits, guys. You know, you might say this guy's a 5-star, but if you know you can't play him right away, why are you going to waste your time on him? Right? I don't know, guys. And so you got to think about all that when you're recruiting and how they look at your school. Actions you take on the recruiting trail will impact the playing time grade of both recruits and players on your current roster. Even if a player is a starter today, signing new players in recruiting may negatively impact their playing time grade and cause them to enter the transfer portal. See, guys, you can't just go after the highest rated guy. You can't just go after the highest star guy. You got to make sure they fit what you already have in your program. Okay? If you already got a bona fide a solid wide receiver core, right? You got to go out. You got to go get some wide receivers that you can bring in, that you can develop to come in after those guys. You can't bring in another five-star recruit to compete with your other star wide receivers. They're gonna say, "Wait a minute, I had blah 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 many catches last year. I was in the Heisman Trophy race, and you're gonna replace me?" They're gonna be transferred, guys. So you got to build this thing right. You can't just go after all kind of talent. You got to make it. You got to fill the holes in your current roster, and I love it. On the other hand, championship contender uses a combination of your top 25. I'm right here, guys. Ranking team, prestige, and assessment of your current roster quality with Bud Elite's blue chip ratio, which looks at the percentage of your roster that is made up of 4 and 5-star players. Wow. Guys, they did. You talking to the development team, you talking about a dream team of guys that love college football. And they put all the work into this to make this a great immersive experience. This is immersive. This is just not no whip, bip, bip, bam, married. You got to really dive in to build a dynasty. You know, dynasty, we take that word as a small word, but that's a huge word to build a dynasty. And you got to earn it the right way by building a real dynasty. You can't just go out and find all these 5-star recruits, do this, do that, and build a dynasty. You got to work from the inside out. Man, I love it. Finally, there's brand exposure, which is a reflection of your school's brand and the potential NIL opportunities. Guys want those NIL opportunities, man. They want to make money. Most grades update dramatically throughout the season, while some only update at the end of every season. It's important to keep tabs on your your grades throughout the season and how you are trending, because a slide in your grades could trigger decommitments from verbal commitments. Recruits. So even if they gave you a verbal commit, they could decommit. Or a sudden transfer portal exodus at the end of the season. And you're shocked. They're hitting the transfer portal and you're like, oh man, he's hitting the transfer portal. Why does he want to leave? That leaves you got to find a replacement. Your grades also play a potential role in recruiting and will determine how well your pitchers and land with their recruit. So to have a successful recruiting class, guys, you got to do this thing right. You got to make people happy, where they want to come to your school and stay at your school. Beautiful stuff, man. Beautiful stuff. Each week, the game will surface this information to inform you Inform in a weekly summary, allowing you a quickly see the health of your program and any changes. Wow, you get to see the health of your program, the actual your weekly advanced summary. The My School report will show you grades that were positively or negatively impacted by your actions in the last week, as well as any grades that have players who are at risk of transferring if it gets too low. Guys, you're getting a grade. So if you see your My School report is getting bad, then you got to make some changes. You got to do something different. You got to talk to your recruits different. You got to. That's what I said. You got to develop a system, a successful system, and that may be taking a lot of trial and error. Okay, on what's good for your program. Once you develop a solid program, you can recruit the world. And Saban did that at Alabama. All these schools like Alabama, all these top grade schools, Georgia, they got successful programs. These high school players all want to go. You don't think all those guys want to go to Oregon? All those guys wants to go to Alabama? Why? Because they have successful programs and they have great schools. Okay, collectively, My School grades from your team prestige, which can be thought of as My School GPA, grade point average. Team prestige grades teams from 0 to 5 stars and half stars increments based on their current My School grades. Very few programs will achieve elite 5-star status and even fewer will be able to maintain it for a prolonged period of time. Ultimately, team prestige plays a pivotal role in recruiting and the caliber of players who want to play for your program. So you got to have good team prestige. Remember that. Good team prestige. Okay? Recruits and where they come from. Each season, more than 3,500 recruits are generated from across the country. Just like the real world, every class is different. Some years have a plethora of great quarterback talent, while others have fewer great prospects. That's true, right? You might have a lot of talent, and sometimes you might have a less talent to pick from. The quality of prospects from each region of the country will vary. Certain regions will be more consistent in the caliber, quality, and type of recruits they produce than others. For example, Southern California is known for producing great quarterback talent. With each Texas, while East, I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to get this right. While East Texas consistently produces, East Texas, some of the best wide receivers in the country. However, we didn't stop there. We wanted to go deeper to ensure we were capturing the authenticity of high school talent. Yes, East Texas is known for producing great receivers, but more specifically, they are known for how big and physical their receivers are. Awesome, guys. As a result, you are going to see bigger and more physical receivers coming out of East Texas, whereas South Florida is going to produce incredibly fast, deep threat receivers who have a smaller size. So that's going to be based on your play style also, guys. Again, you can't just go out and get anything. They have to be compared to your program and something they like, the play style that you have, to get that big receiver or that smaller, fast receiver, right? What a recruit cares about. There are 14 different motivations a recruit can care about, okay? All of which map 1-to-1 with My School grades. Very important. Your school grade described above, which which motivations they care about are influenced by their star rating. A five-star prospect is going to care more about getting to the next level, which is the NFL, winning championships, and growing their brand with NIL opportunities than a two-year star will. By contrast, a two-star is more likely to care about staying close to home, coaching stability, and academics. So if you go after these 4 and 5 star guys, man, you better make them happy. You better have a system in place to make them happy. Again, they want the NILs. They want to go to the next level, just like it says. Right? Amen. Amen. And if you look at Colorado, Coach Sanders, man, that's what he's trying to build, that culture. He's trying to attract these top players. And he's got a program to keep them in there, too, where they're happy. So that's what you got to do to make a recruit happy. Okay, let's read some of the recruiting pipeline. When we analyze historical recruiting data, it was clear that even in today's day and age, recruiting is still highly regionalized. We discussed various recruiting stages and tactics which current and former coaches, in particular, how they handled recruiting in different areas of the country. All of our research and discussion led us to a new way of thinking about pipelines in college football 25. First and foremost, it was clear that not every state is created equal when it comes to recruiting, recruiting talent, and pipelines. Having a pipeline in Florida is much more viable than one in New York. This made clear that the traditional approach of having each state be its own pipeline wouldn't accurately represent the recruiting landscape. One of the goals was to balance pipelines in terms of the quantity and quality of recruits that come from them, as well as how schools tend to look at them. So guys, the pipeline stuff is important, man. The result was reshaping pipelines to represent geographic region rather than a state. For example, Florida is now broken into 3 different pipelines: North Florida, Central Florida, and South Florida. Similarly, Metro Atlanta is its own pipeline, whereas New York and New Jersey were combined to become a single pipeline. In total, there are 50 pipelines in college football 25. Wow. You got to get familiar with all this stuff for recruiting, guys. Initial entrance and top schools. Every recruit will start with a list of schools that they are interested in. When a recruit generates their initial top schools list, they evaluate every school's My School grades. There we go again. Your school grades, if you want to get these top recruits, you got to earn them. You got to earn them. Okay? In relation to their ideal pitch and motivations. They also take into account their home pipeline and proximity to home. This means that recruits from Atlanta are more likely to have schools from the Southeast in their initial top schools. However, some prospects will look to leave home and play for a school further away if schools outside the region better fit their needs, or if they don't consider any schools in the area good enough for them. Wow. So we kind of get the idea when we talk about initial interest of top schools, right, for the recruits. Okay, we know we talked about this already, the stages. Discovery, when you're discovering your recruits. The first stage of recruiting is discovery, where your goal is to learn information about the prospect as quickly as possible. Okay, we kind of get that, guys. You can quickly filter the prospect list by using L2 or LT. Position filter, the R2, RT filters, which allow you to filter by the top prospect by top prospects, star ratings, and state. If you like more control in your search, you can use the advanced search feature by pressing triangle Y from within the prospect list. Advanced search allows you to search for prospects that match a specific set of criteria. You can search for recruits using the following criteria: position, player type, archetype, state, minimum star rating, height, weight, handedness, so I guess that'd be left or right handed, quarterbacks only, interest in your school. So you can set all this up when we talk about discovering to build your prospect list, to get the prospect list going. So it's basically going to be based on your need of your program. What position you're looking for. Like I said, you can't have a great wide receiver core and you got guys coming up under them already and then go after some more recruits because they're going to hit the transfer portal saying, oh man, that guy might come out and replace my position. They don't want to be in that position, guys. So if you don't need a wide receiver, you can go by position, right? And build your program in your needs department. Not because he's a 5-star recruit, not because he has high ratings, because you need him. You got to go by your needs to build a solid program when you go back to the My School report, right? When viewing a recruit in the prospect list, you will be able to see bio information about the recruit, as well as key recruiting information like whether or not they have a deal breaker. I guess you got to look at that first, the deal breaker, because if you don't pay any attention to the deal breaker and you're trying to recruit them and they see the deal breaker, you ain't giving them what they want, they're gone. If they satisfy a team need, how interested they are in your school, their recruiting stage, and how many scholarship offers they have. A lot of competition, guys. A lot of competition. So we kind of get the idea of what it is about recruiting. You got to attract these guys. They're looking for the NILs, all that stuff. They're looking at your grade, your team grade, and all that stuff. Again, they talk about the deal breaker. You better not have none of their deal breakers. Okay. So here we go. Team needs. When setting up your board, it is important to understand your current roster strengths and weaknesses. How many players are graduating next season? Very good point. So if you got seniors on that, you got to have some guys coming up behind them, but you still got to have some freshman guys coming in, right? How often recruiting starters are you going to have? Within any of the recruiting screens, you can press R3, RS, right stick to quickly see your needs at every position. Again, you got to go by needs, guys. You can't be talking about, oh, he's a 5-star recruit, I need to go get him. No, you got to go by your needs to build your recruiting board based on your needs. And then go get them to fill your holes, to build your program. The team needs spreadsheet will show you an overall letter grade for each position, as well as a breakdown by school year for the players who are currently on your roster. So if you get a grade like a C for wide receiver, then you know you got to build your wide receivers up. So you do need a needed wide receiver. Even if you got some good wide receiver, your total overall grade is a C. So why not try to get some better overall receivers to improve your grade at the receiver spot? So guys, this is really based on team needs when we to initiate your recruiting board. If your recruiting board is all over the place and you're not meeting the needs of your dynasty, everything can fall apart, right? Attracting people to your program is going to fall apart. Let's see. How many players you need at a position will vary by scheme. For example, if you run a pass-heavy offensive scheme like veer and shoot, you will need 10 wide receivers. Wow. So if you want to be a passing team, you gotta get the right players to make that work. Whereas a pro-style offense only needs 6. Your scheme is tied to your playbook, and the only way to change it is by changing your offensive and defensive playbooks, which can be done at any time. as you continue to target and sign players your team needs will update accordingly. But I wouldn't change my I wouldn't change anything in my offensive defensive playbooks because I want to have a certain style and then get the players that I want to fit my style. Now, if I see a 5-star recruit and he doesn't fit my style, then I just don't get him because there's never be no team chemistry, and he's gonna want to leave anyway, right? So get the guys that like your schemes or like your playbook or your pro style offense, right? Especially quarterbacks. If I was a quarterback going into college, and I know I want to get to the next level, I want to be in a pro style offense. I don't want to go somewhere like Oregon. See, that would be I don't want to go to all that option foolery stuff on the offense. I want to go to a pro style offense because a lot of those recruits, they go to the NFL and they're lost. Right? They got to learn stuff. And then next thing you know, you be like, oh, man, this guy was good in college, but he ain't doing nothing. Especially, that happens a lot with quarterbacks, man. All right, let's move on down. Recruiting hours. Let's look at that. Recruiting hours are your core currency to spend on recruiting, actions, and scouting each week. Okay? The amount of recruiting hours you have depends on your team prestige and what part of the season you are in. Teams with a higher team prestige will have no more recruiting hours each week. This is meant to model the recruiting resources a program has, with higher tier programs having significantly more resources available to them. For example, in the preseason of a 5-star program, will have 1,000 recruiting hours, compared to only 350 hours for a 1-star program. Gotcha. So you're going to have more hours the bigger your program is. The time of the year also impacts your recruiting hours. During the preseason and off-season recruiting, you do not have to prepare for a game each Saturday. As a result, you have significantly more time to spend on recruiting than you do in the heart of the regular season. So that's how they're explaining the points. In addition, the maximum recruiting hours you can spend in a week, each prospect has a maximum number of hours that you can spend on them in a given week. The default maximum is 50 hours. But this can be increased to a maximum of 70 hours with the always be recruiting ability for that position. Okay, recruiting board. We kind of get how that works. We just read some of that earlier. Building a recruiting board. Scouting. Before you start offering scholarships and dictating your limited recruiting hours and resources to prospects, it is important to make sure you're targeting the right ones for your program. Again, you can't just go after anybody. You got to get the right people for your program, your style, your type of players you want. During the preseason, you are only able to scout and offer scholarships. So it is a great time to scout players and ensure you are targeting the right prospects. In College Football 25, we are introducing a new scouting system designed to represent the ambiguity, that's a word that's too big for me, and progressive discovery of a high school player's skills. I love the screens, man. They're awesome. Prior to scouting a player, you will only be able to see their star rating, height, weight, hometown position, and archetype. You will see question marks on their attributes, abilities, and development trait. The attributes represents the top 10 ratings for their archetype. So you're going to only be able to see their star rating, their height, weight, hometown position. So then you have to depend on your pipeline, the schools you normally see good wide receivers in this certain area. You have to depend on that. So maybe you want to go to that area. I don't know, guys. This is going to be tough. Each attribute has 4 states of scouting. Unscouted. This is represented by question marks and is the default state for every recruit if they're unscouted. Partially scouted. At this stage, you will see horizontal bar appear. The left side of the bar is 0 and the right side is 99. Within the bar is a goal zone that covers 25% of the bar's space. The player's true rating for that attribute is somewhere in this range. Good stuff. Good stuff to know. Mostly scouted. Once you have mostly scouted a player's attribute, you have a much clearer picture of the prospect. At this point, the goal zone only covers 10% of the bar. And that's mostly scouted. Fully scouted. When a rating is fully scouted, you know exactly how good the prospect is and their exact attribute rating is revealed. So there's the levels of scouting during your scouting deal. Unscouted, partially scouted, mostly scouted, and fully scouted. Okay, we get it. All right, let's see. Each time you scout a prospect, you reveal a limited amount of information about them. Okay, we kind of get that. We kind of get that when we go from unscouted all the way to fully scouted. Okay, they're just explaining it more in detail. Now, finding the ideal pitch for your recruiting. Once you've determined a prospect meets your initial criteria, it is time to begin uncovering intel about their motivations and what they care about. Okay? Once they're fully scouted and you know you want them on your list, that's the next step. Remember, every prospect has 3 motivations they care about, which compromise their ideal pitch. So we've kind of read this earlier, guys, so we kind of get the idea. Your goal is to discover their ideal pitch as quickly as possible so that you know if their motivations align with your program, and so that you have the information you need when you begin pitching in stage 2. Beautiful. The 5 recruiting actions are as follows: offering the scholarship, search social media, contact friends and family, send the house. For the recruiting coordinator to every other coach on your staff, send every available resource to have after a prospect to gain as much influence with them as possible. All right. So those are the 5 recruiting actions as follows. As you uncover their motivations, they will no longer display a question mark. If the motivation displays a red X, the recruit does not care about it. If it displays a green check mark, this is one of the 3 motivations they care about. With this added depth in recruiting, now this is really depth. This whole thing is in depth, guys. This is immersive. We wanted to make sure that recruiting did not become a chore. It means boring. That took a significant amount of your time each week. You're right. If it gets that way, monotonous or whatever they're trying to say, or boring or not exciting, you're not going to go through these stages every time. You're going to start taking shortcuts. With this in mind, every recruiting action is set it and forget it, meaning they will stay week over week until the recruit either locks you out, commits, or you decide to change your recruiting actions. Beautiful. Stage 2 is the pitch. We get that. It's kind of the same information. Guys, they really hit this in detail. Okay? Stage 2 is your pitch, right? And then we get to the close, right? We kind of understand what all that means right now. Reading the other stuff earlier. Hey, coach, I'm sorry, but I've decided to leave. Let's check this out. Over the last 3 years, the transfer portal has completely reshaped college football and how you build your roster. While it can be used to quickly upgrade your roster, it can also gut your program if a mess of players head to the exits. So you got to keep them happy, guys. We kind of understand what that means when they go to the transfer portal, right? You bring in some other people that they didn't like. They felt like their position was threatened, or they got to compete for their position. They're gonna be like, "Oh man, I've been here for 2 years. I shouldn't have to compete for my position. I don't like that. I'm gonna jump in the transfer portal." Okay, we kind of get this section right here. Let's see. I think it's best if you play elsewhere. While players have the opportunity to leave via the transfer portal every season, you will also have the opportunity to make roster changes. Every offseason, you are required to get back down to 85 players on your roster. Unfortunately, that means if you are over the 85-man limit, you will be forced to encourage some players to transfer and find a new home. Even if you are at or below 85 players on your roster, you can still encourage players to transfer in order to make room for new players the next season. Okay, so let's say you recruited this guy and he's a freshman and you thought he was good enough to start. That was one of his deal breakers if he don't start, but you said we're going to take a chance on him. I don't want to, if I don't satisfy his deal breaker, he has to start. He's going elsewhere. You can make him, you can say, "Hey, I think you should leave. I think it's best you go play somewhere else." You can do that, right? All right. And no, you can't encourage the brand new freshman you just signed to find a new home the moment he gets on campus. Oh, so you can't do that to freshmen. As soon as he's got to play at least one season, that makes sense. Okay? The transfer portal. As we've said at the beginning, one of our goals was to make the transfer portal authentically unpredictable. Guys, I always have problems with that word. Even if you saw my last videos, I had a problem with that word. Sometimes I can get it. Okay? This begins with players leaving. Some schools may face a mass exodus of players while others may be left untouched. Once all players have decided whether to stay or go, the transfer portal will officially open at the start of off-season recruiting. Guys, this is a never relaxing situation. You're always on your P's and Q's. You always got to stay on point because at any time these guys want to leave. You think they're happy, you think they're ready to stay. You slip up, they're gone. So every year is a new process. It is tough to build a dynasty year in and year out. Now I see when they were mentioning that earlier. Just because you're up 1 year or had 2 successful national championships, that doesn't mean you just got to keep it going. It's constantly changing is what I'm saying. Your dynasty is constantly changing. You got to be good at making adjustments. This is what it sounds like to me. You got to be good at making adjustments in your program, right? Because it's always not going to go smooth, right? There's always going to be roadmaps. Hiccups and stuff like that, guys. So we kind of understand the transfer portal. I won't read this all verbatim. Let's read this part. Of course, once they see the players who are actually in the portal, their priorities may change. Having a need at left tackle is nice and all during the season, but if there's a 5-star transfer quarterback who wants to come into your school, why turn them down? Wow. But then what about the quarterback you already got? I don't know, guys. You can't always go after the greenest grass on the other side concept, right? Okay, signing day. This is the big one. Just like the real world, College Football 25 features both early signing day and national signing day. Early signing day takes place at the start of the bowl season after the regular season has been completed. National signing day takes place 7 weeks after the national championship. Once the signing day, once on signing day, any player who have verbally committed to a school prior to signing day will sign, meaning they can no longer decommit. The majority of prospects will commit prior to early signing day, but some recruitments may last late into the cycle because I'm guessing they haven't made their final decision yet. Those prospects, along with transfer, will ultimately sign their letter of intent on national signing day. Throughout recruiting, so when they talk about early signing, those guys are already committed. They know who they want to go to. And the late signing, on national signing day, is the guys that comes to those last minute decisions, right? Throughout recruiting, you can view the team's recruiting rankings in the top classes tab of the recruiting hub. The top classes allow you to view the team recruiting rankings for high school prospects, transfers, or combined. You can also filter the rankings by conference. Any recruit who's are unsigned after National Signing Day will stick around and become walk-ons in the off season. So you can get walk-ons too. With that being said, the days of a player who was being actively recruited, not committing anywhere, and drifting off into the either are over. No longer will you have to speculate and fantasize what happened to them. Did they fail to get into school because of grades? Did they have a change of heart and decided to try archery instead? Was it something you said? Now, the team with the highest influence on signing day will get the player as long as they have offered them a scholarship. This was a huge quality of life improvement that we all felt was a must have, and we are very happy we were able to deliver it. Man, y'all got shout out to the devs, man. This took a lot of time. This took a lot of time and planning and effort to make this recruiting system immersive. And they've hit every bullet, man. Every bullet point in recruiting, they've hit it, man. It's a lot more immersive than NCAA 14. I know people love that system, but this system is more advanced, which it should be in today's development, right? Position changes. Following signing day, you will have the opportunity to change player positions. Some players might not like that. They're going to be unhappy. Ahead of off-season progression, you brought him in saying he can be the starting halfback, but then you change and want to put him at receiver. Or you took the receiver and put him at tight end or something like that, right? Or you made a cornerback and made him a safety. This is especially important for any athlete you sign in recruiting, as they do not have an actual position. If you forget to set an athlete's position, they will be automatically assigned to their primary archetype's position when you advance to week. Oh, I kind of get it now. Because some guys might be able to play different positions, multiple positions, like your boy at Colorado. Players will be able to change to any other position regardless of their original position. But you still have to be careful with that, guys. They might not want to switch. The position change spreadsheet will show you their projected overall at the new position, which archetype they would become, where they would rank on the depth chart, and the number of players at the position. So that changes a lot when you got a guy switching positions, guys. That changes a lot. It's not just that position. It changes, affects the other positions also. Other players might not like that. Once you confirm their new position, they will receive a new set of physical abilities that are specific to that archetype. The physical abilities and tiers they receive are determined by their new attributes. Mental abilities will not change unless the mental ability does not apply to their new position. Player progression, of course, we get that. In College Football 25, there are 4 player development traits. So we kind of went over it earlier: normal, impact, star, and elite. The best of the best. These players will make a statement the moment they get on campus and have the potential to be an all-time great. Those are the ones you got to make happy. Those are the ones going to be looking for the NIL deals. Let's look at normal. These players are most common and progress at a standard rate. Expect them to steadily grow over the career. So those are the guys that's going to come up, slowly learn the system, and become seniors eventually and become starters. Those are their normal player development traits. Impact, the type of player that can really change a team. They progress faster than normal with higher upgrades, okay? Now, it depends on your team needs. You need these normal guys that grow through the system. You need these impact guys that maybe the guy can start right away, right? If you have that need. Star, a potential Sunday player. There are very few of these go around, and they're established themselves early as fast learners. See, that star player could be a freshman. Start as a freshman. Or maybe you take 1 year and make him a redshirt freshman. Maybe you don't have the spot for him yet. But you said we can bring him in, but as a star level, he's not going to want to be there. He's not playing, and you make him a redshirt freshman and don't play him that first year. You're not going to be able to do that to star players. You may be able to do that to normal, to impact, maybe impact players. You can say, okay, we want you to learn to get you in the weight room, learn the system for 1 year, and then you're probably going to be a starter because you're going to replace so-and-so and so. He's a senior or whatever, right? Because of our needs, we're going to need that third wide receiver, and you could be that third wide receiver. So it's a lot of things you have to manage. Skill groups. As opposed to progressing each attribute individually, for example, trucking, players will instead progress an entire skill group. A skill group is a collection of related attributes. For example, the running back power skill group includes trucking, strength, stiff arm, toughness, jumping, and injury. Every skill group has a max level of 10. Each time you upgrade a skill group, it will increase 1 level and progress all of the attributes in that skill group. With that being said, some players will have a skill group max level or cap that is less than 10. Skill group caps can be thought of as a player's max potential in that particular group. They will vary by player skill group, position, and archetype. Once a skill group has hit the cap, it can no longer be upgraded because it goes up to 10. Unless the coach has a archetype, archetype, and the limitless put on a ring on it abilities. Let me read that again. Once a skill group has hit the cap, it can no longer be upgraded unless the coach has the archetype and the limitless or put a ring on it abilities. Limitless provides a chance to increase a random skill gap every time the player levels up, and put a ring on it. It provides a chance to increase their highest skill gap after winning a conference or national championship. It's a lot of screens to manage, man, on players, man. You really got to build. You are not going to build a dynasty unless you become really good at all the components of building a dynasty. recruiting, NILs, transfer portals, um, attracting recruits out of high school, understanding your needs, understanding the pipeline, where the strength of recruits come from, different parts of the country. You're going to have to be good at everything. That's why your coaching staff is very important, because you're not going to be the expert at everything, right? Just like I said in the beginning. So all this is starting to do a 360 in a complete circle of building a dynasty. Mental and physical abilities, we kind of understand what that's all about, how they can handle things, their abilities. You got to find the mental abilities, players that's going to fit your play style. Let's read the first part. As Scott described in the gameplay deep dive, players can have up to 5 physical abilities and 3 mental abilities. Both physical and mental abilities have 4 tiers: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. See, we kind of went through all this already. Physical abilities are determined by a player's archetype, while mental abilities are position specific. We know the quarterback's going to need a mental ability, right? Impact players. Impact players are back and are a quick way for you to easily identify the key players on the other team. Every team will have at least one offensive and one defensive player who is an impact player. However, unlike the past, there is no limit on the number of impact players a team can have. Explosive offenses with playmakers everywhere might have 5 or 6 impact players across the board, letting you know straight up that they got dudes and they are about to cook. But then again, they got to manage the wear and tear system. Guys, all this is interconnected. Managing wear and tear. Wow, there we go. With the introduction of the new wear and tear system, the week-to-week management of your players is more essential than ever before. As described in the gameplay deep dive, players can incur damaged body parts during gameplay. The more damaged your body part is, the more it will impact their on-the-field performance in addition to on-the-field gameplay. Players will also incur wear and tear damage doing super sim. Now, I just thought about something, guys. When we look at the different recruits, and we got normal, impact, the different stages of recruits that you bring in, they may be able to fit in this. So if you got a star guy that not necessarily starting, but you promised him playing time, he can come in for that wide receiver that needs a break. Maybe he got hit, some really hard hits on a few plays. Bring him out for a few plays and bring in your star guy. Okay? So again, managing the play time on the roster. So that's another way to get your guys some playing time, to bring in for let's say your quarterback has been sacked a few times, right? Your offensive line been giving up some sacks. Hey, that next game, or maybe you want to take him out a few plays and bring in the next guy for the wear and tear. Let your starter get some rest. I don't know how, but you got to manage this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, guys. This is awesome. This is deep. Can we really handle this thing, man? Delivering the world of college football. One of the biggest challenges we faced in development of college football 25s was the task of recreating everything that makes the sport college football so unique. And they've done it, guys. They have done it. A new day in college football. They're talking about the 12 playoff system. We kind of understand how that works. This is awesome, guys. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. There's your playoff, college football playoff. Ohio State and Texas. Beautiful. We kind of get what they're saying with this, guys. The playoffs. Just like the college football playoff bracket, you will get your first look at the bowl projections in the first week of November each season. Each week that you keep winning, you can see yourself climb in the polls, playing in a more prestigious bowl, all while trying to earn a berth in college football playoffs. Wow, meet your new neighbor. Custom conferences. They got stats for everything. I love it, man. Be your own conference commissioner. We know that's because you can customize your conference. Let's talk schedules. College football is unlike any sport in that so many of the weeks of the season mean something special is to so many different schools. It's not enough to make sure that the schedules rotate and that home and away status gets flipped for the new year. If it's the third Saturday in October, Tennessee better be playing Alabama. If it's Thanksgiving weekend, then the Iron Bowl. The big game, Florida State, Florida, and a host of other rivalry games better be on the table next to the turkey and stuffing. Dynasty Mode's scheduling system will make sure those special games get filled in the correct weeks before adding in the rest of the conference and a non-conference slate to get each school to their 12 games. Guys, you can't tell me they really put the work in this game. On the field and off the field, they put the work into this game. Scores and schedules. Beautiful. Let's look. The crowd themes that our friends and presentation talked about recently also appear in Dynasty. If your school does a whiteout, blackout, checkerboard, striping, etc., you will see those crowd themes in the first home game of the season. For rivalry games, and if you are named as a game of the week. All right. Custom schedules, Team Builder, and Online Dynasty. Team Builder is back. Okay, we know what that is, but let's read it. You can import up to 16 Team Builder teams in a private online dynasty. Okay. The commissioner would need to replace existing FBS schools with the Team Builder teams they want to add when setting up the dynasty, including Team Builder schools. It's only available at the creation of the league, and they can only be used in private online dynasties. So make sure a commissioner knows which schools you want to use when getting the online dynasty started. So you can get a dynasty going with all created teams and Team Builder. Wow, burn a shirt or not to burn a shirt. It must be talking about red shirts. The changes in the world of college football have not been limited to off the field. Handling red shirts have also been a recent overhaul. And to keep in line with the real world, we have implemented the ability to play in up to 4 games in a season and still be eligible to take a red shirt. Each preseason, you will have the option of selecting which players you for sure want to redshirt. And during the course of the season, you can monitor how many games each player has played in order to make the determination on if you want to keep playing that player or have them sit the remaining of the year in order to preserve his redshirt status. So we kind of understand all the redshirt stuff. College football loves to celebrate accomplishments, whether it's reclaiming a 100-plus yard old water jug from a rival, that the annual Michigan-Minnesota game, a coach hoisting up the SEC championship trophy in Atlanta in early December, or most outstanding player in college football striking the iconic pose just 1 week later. College football awards are synonymous. Different awards. All-Americans list. Wow. Records are made to be broken. Play the pride stickers. Let's see. For certain schools like Ohio State, the Florida State, the pride stickers that are Apply it to an individual player's helmet. Okay, yes, that's how they get them stickers on the helmet. Yep, great. So what else? No Dynasty deep dive is complete without going through some of the utility features of the mode. Both online and offline Dynasty can go for up to 30 seasons. Post-game speech. Congratulations, you have made it this far in the blog, standing at nearly 17,000 words and 85 pages. The blog is representation of how passionate the team is about this game. And it shows how passionate that dream team they put together of guys who love college football. Wow. All right, guys, that was a long one. But I gave you most of it. I gave you 90% of it. We kind of get an idea with a lot of it, man. Look at it, man. I've been scrolling forever. Look at this. I've been scrolling forever. Let's go all the way back to the top. Boom. There we go, guys. College Football 25 Dynasty Deep Dive. I hope you enjoyed the information, guys. I tried to take it out of your hands. You want to go back and read it more in detail on certain things that I missed, but I'm pretty sure you got the big picture. It's not easy to build a dynasty. We got a lot of work to do. I'm Hollywood Sports. Thanks for watching. But let me know, guys, what teams you're going to build a dynasty with, or maybe it's a few teams, right? Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll see you on the field.